Waterfowl hunting is awesome, but it's even more wonderful with the dog there to share it with. For me, it's not complete without the retriever. And that's one reason why we do what we do. There's just something about the dog being there that matters.
My name is Brent Wilkinson. I guide for Goose Reapers Guided Outdoors. Me and Marty had been talking for a few weeks, and then one day Marty called me and said, "Hey, do you hunt with a dog?" And I said, "No, sir, we don't really use dogs." And he said, "Well, you need a dog, you know." So we started talking about it a little more, and a month later, I was in Oxford, Mississippi at Sport and Life Kennels, and I met up with old Red Dog, and we've been pretty good companions ever since. I'd say one of the nicest things through this whole journey, you know, traveling from state to state, meeting new people, being around different lodges, you know, I mean, he's with me every step of the way. So it's always nice to have that one thing, you know him like the back of your hand. You know, you have some new experience. You know, he's there with you. It's just great to have him.
Brent, 25, 26-year-old young man, international specklebelly calling champion. Specklebellies are his passion, but hunting in general is his passion. And I got to talking to him, and you know, Brent didn't have a dog. He was fixing to go on the road, really, for months. And you know, I thought, well, Brent, I've got a dog here named Red that would love to have a place to go and hunt all year. I like to place my dogs with good handlers and good hunters around the Mid-South, and so they have a great hunting season. And boy, they had a season.
There's never a dull moment, you know. Always got somebody to ride around the truck with, always got somebody to hang out with whenever there is downtime. Keeps me on my toes, always busy doing something. He's always there.
So after talking to Brent and knowing what his season might look like, I was like, "Brent, you need a dog." He goes, "Yes, sir, Mr. Marty, I think I do." I said, "Well, I got one for you." And this is what we did with Red. We hooked Red up with Brent.
Out here driving around, we just got a tip on an area, and it's paying off. We're sitting on a crane feed. We found 2 different places where the mallards are getting real heavy. Got a goose feed. We're getting ready this afternoon. We're going to try to put a hurting on these geese and ducks. Might even kill a crane or 2. Who knows? Old Red Dog here is ready. Only know one other one, and it's super hot with ducks too. But what's crazy is these ducks aren't hitting this field. Look, they're tornadoing right there. Look at all these ducks. Look at all of them. Look back over here.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The thing about having a dog is they like to sleep a lot, you know, so we'll be driving around and you can always tell whenever he's awake, you know. I'll roll that window down and we pull up next to a field of geese and he's just got the eyes to the sky the entire time.
Oh, I got you. Great.
See all them geese? Crib? See all the geese? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and go and I'll follow you. Yeah, the driving part's kind of crazy, you know, we'll wake up 6 o'clock, you know, about an hour before the sun comes up and we'll probably drive 300 miles in a day. It's kind of crazy, you know, we'll start at 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll drive around till, you know, we'll find one spot and go to the next, and by the time the birds go back to water, you know, sometimes it's noon, 1 o'clock, and you could be an hour away from where you started, you know, so, you know, you go back to the room, get some lunch, and then by the time that's said and done, you know, you're back on the road again.
The grind that the guide life is, you know, these men go out and they are out there searching and looking and scouting every day. They're doing this, you know, whatever the season is, 60 days or more. And for a guide, Red would be just a really great asset.
Having him around saved me a lot of walking. He saved me a lot of time alone in the vehicle. You know, we'll wake up at, you know, an hour before the sun comes up, and we might not be back from scouting until 1, 2 o'clock, and there's no napping. You know, you get back at 1 or 2 o'clock, you finally get to eat lunch, and when you're done eating lunch, you're back on the road again. All right. We started out in south central Texas, and we started out with alligator and teal season, which is in September, which is a crazy 16 days. And then straight from there, we'll go to Kansas, and we'll hunt there for, I don't know, a couple weeks. You know, about a week after the season starts there, the Oklahoma season will start up. But we'll stay there about 2 weeks, and then we'll come down into northern Oklahoma and we'll start shooting ducks. The first geese that show up, speckle bellies. You know, I like my speckle bellies. So we'll get on them pretty hard. And then first split's over with, you know, we'll go back up to Kansas again there for 2 weeks, well, for about a week and a half. And then we'll come back down so we can have some time to scout. And we'll hunt till pretty much the day before Christmas Eve. We'll go home for 3 days, and then we're right back here. We'll hunt till February, and then we might go home for a week.
It's important for a guide, it's important for Brent to have a dog that it has no quit in him. You know, you need a dog that's got the drive. You need a dog that can go 60 mornings or more. Some places in the country, they'll go 80 or 90. But you need a dog that can go out there and grind it out like you do every day, and not get worn down. And Red is that dog. He doesn't get tired of hunting. So our trip out to Oklahoma really was just a dream hunt.
We found an awesome duck feed. After we found the duck feed, we found an awesome goose feed and hunted it the first evening.
I was able to take Kevin Johnson and his son Colton, lifelong friends of mine. He got to go out there. Jeremy Levinsky got to go out there. We hunt with him over at David's farm every weekend. Great friend of David's. David got to go.
Not only was I able to put everybody on some birds, but I feel like there's a good relationship going with me and the kennel and Marty.
definitely bit and pulled him a little closer, didn't it?
Then the duck feed that we found, we got on it that evening, hunted it the next morning, had an awesome hunt. We just need to stagger something on the bottom where it drains. After I got red, you know, I got a boatload of friend requests on Facebook and started talking with all these people that come to find out have some of Marty's dogs, and everybody's open to be able to give tips and you know, always asking questions about the dog, you know, how he's doing, which, I mean, you never really hear from very many other kennels.
Something we don't see every day, and it was for that reason of the uniqueness of it and the beauty of it. It was a hunt worth remembering.
I mean, and it was incredible. Thousands and thousands of ducks in our face. Then, you know, the next day, you know, we hunted this pond that we hunted this morning, and I mean, same scenario: mallards, pintails, widgeons, by the hundreds. I mean, you know, he came up to me several times this morning to talk about it, you know, and just a great time to be here. I've hunted with a lot of dogs in the past. You know, I've been guiding for a long time, and I think a lot of the things that stick out on him the most with me, for instance, is like being able to do a back angle cast or a hunt up whistle. Those things I've used just as much as anything he's ever done in the field.
They will flat put you on the birds, and Red had an opportunity to see a lot of birds fall and pick up a lot of birds, and it was a really great season for him.
So when I went to meet Marty for the first time at Sporting Life Kennels, you know, we're sitting there in his office, and on this little dog lounge on the side is this dog, you know, and we got to start talking about him, and come to find out, Marty actually started his kennel around this dog, and it was pretty cool to be able to hunt with Harvey this weekend.
I took Harvey, my old buddy. We took Joe, David's dog Joe, and then Brent had Red. So we had 3 great, you know, hunters out there with us, picking up birds for us. It was really unique watching them in a new environment. For me, as a dog man, seeing the dogs perform and do what they love to do was just added so much to the hunt.
Definitely having him is nice, you know. I mean, you really think about it, you know. I mean, the average hunter probably loses, you know, 20, 25 birds a year, you know, not having a dog, not being able to pull that grass back and find that duck, or, you know, making that long retrieve in the goose field, you know, on the other side of the levee in a rice field, or whatever it may be, you know, it definitely helps having him.
I also took Preacher, so that's my bike dog, Preacher, and so Preacher had some great hunts out there. So Joe, Preacher, Harvey, Red. A lot of dogs, but we got a lot of birds, so they all got plenty of action.
The dog that I got, Red, is actually one of Harvey's puppies, and come to find out, this is actually Harvey's last season, so it was really cool to be able to experience one of his last hunts, you know, and also being able to hunt with Red. Just made the whole weekend so much cooler.
Waterfowl hunting is wonderful. It's wonderful, but it's even more wonderful with the dog there. It doesn't have to be my dog, but it's just, for me, it's not complete without the retriever. It's just not the same, and that's one reason why we do what we do. We understand that there's just something about the dog being there that matters. It just adds to it. And for me, there's nothing like experiencing that with your buddy.
So this week, we're going to talk about introduction to gunfire. Very common question, very important question. One of the biggest things that people get into in the introduction to gunfire is rushing into it. They think that, oh, I can just jump outside with a 12 gauge and start shooting and this dog's going to understand what's going on. That's not the case. We like to introduce gunfire with a retriever trainer launcher. It's a 22 blank, shoots a bumper. We like to start afar. So get you a buddy, have him step maybe 100, 120 yards off. You have the dog at heel, and this is all about reading the dog. We're gonna hold our hand up, buddy's gonna shoot the bumper. Our eyes are on the dog the whole time. We're watching for any kind of weird movement, any good movement. We're reading that dog. He'll shoot it, dog will mark it, send the dog for the bumper. She comes back. If all that goes well, we'll move in closer. We'll go from 120 yards to 75 yards. We'll hold our hand up, our buddy will shoot a mark. Dog goes and gets it, comes back. If that all goes well, we'll take these increments until we get to the point where we are right next to that gun. The first time it's gonna obviously be the retriever trainer. The next day, we'll come out with the 20 gauge. Have your buddy step off to 100, 120 yards, and we'll do the same deal. This time you'll be throwing a bumper, reading the dog. If you see that dog, if he runs out, great, but maybe makes a big half moon to come back into you, trying to maybe skirt away from the gun, we need to back up. If you see the confidence on the dog's way out to the bumper slow down, we probably need to back up. Slow is fast when you're doing this. But if all goes well, We can keep taking 20-yard increments in until we get to the point where we're right next to the 20 gauge. He'll shoot the gun, dog goes and gets it, comes back, good. From this point, we're gonna move to a 12 gauge. This is where you can really learn to start picking up on the body language of the dog and what they like and may not like. Willow. For more in-depth training advice, videos, everything you'll need for your gun dog, check us out at retrieveruniversity.com.